Yes. You see, I mean, science is supposedly all about questioning things and about discussing things.
That's what they want to do. They encourage that.
Yes. I mean, I heard Richard Dawkins say once that science is about contradictions. It's about investigating things critically, and I actually agree with him on that. But also, it's important in a science class to be able to challenge things.
There's nothing wrong with learning the material, but like I said, just don't believe the material. It doesn't hurt to learn the evolution theory, but it does hurt to start believing in that. If we are going to claim the name of Christ and claim to believe in God and claim to believe in God's Word, why would I even ask this question? God said it. You're not trying to get evolution out, and I agree, that should not be necessarily our goal, to get evolution out of the classrooms. We just want to teach science in the classrooms, yes. Real science, and be able to critique scientific theories.
Dawkins and so on cannot prove that the world came into being 4.5 billion years ago. I can't prove scientifically that the world came into being when God created it 6,000 years ago, scientifically. But I do have the documentary evidence.
Exactly. We've got God's Word to go back on, and that is really what it comes down to. Are we going to take God's Word as our authority,
that's right,
or are we going to take some modern scientific idea that's not really even scientific as our authority? What are we going to use there? I was listening to Professor Goldman, I believe was his name, from Lehigh University, and he did a whole series called Science Wars. And as I was going through that, he continued to show over and over that what they thought to be scientifically accurate in the 1700s, by the 1800s, 90% of what they thought was scientifically accurate was now disproven. Same from the 1800s to the 1900s. 90% of what they thought to be scientifically accurate then was now no longer scientifically accurate. Why in the world would I take God's Word, which was written over a period of a couple thousand years and has never been proven wrong, and compromise it or put it under the authority of man's opinion that is going to change here in a few years? Evolution is a relatively somewhat new concept. Why am I going to take it over what God says?
Well, that's the issue, isn't it? It's an issue of authority. Where is our authority going to be? And, you know, there are many people who say things like, well, God could have used evolution to create the world. And that's really irrelevant. I mean, to an extent, I can accept that God could have used evolution to create the world. Actually, I don't think he could, because that would go contrary to his nature. But even if we just say for a moment, God can do anything, therefore he could have created the world by evolution, that is not the issue. The issue is, how did he do it?
Exactly.
How did he say he did it? And if, you know, if he wanted to tell us he'd made it by evolution, then, you know, the pages of his word would have said that. But instead, the pages of his word say that he created the world in 6 days. And that's got to be our authority. And if, you know, if he wanted to tell us he'd made it by evolution, then, you know, the pages of his word would have said that. But and if, you know, if he wanted to tell us he'd made it by evolution, then, you know, the pages of his word would have said that. But
We look at it through God's lens, through God's perspective. So we don't look at the evidence and say, oh, well, maybe the Bible's wrong. We start with God's Word is true, God is right. Now, how does the evidence fit with it?